6:30, I'd like to call the Newman City Council regular meeting, May 22nd, 2012, City Council Chamber, 7 p.m. to order. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity that we have to conduct city business. We just ask that you'll give us wisdom, help us to do things in the right way for all the citizens of our community. And we just praise you and thank you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Don. Could I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Hutchins?
Present.
Councilmember Davis?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martino?
Present.
Mayor Payton? Councilmember Candia?
Present.
Okay, any declaration of conflict of interest? There being none. Ceremonial matters, none tonight. Item 8, consent calendar. Waive all readings of ordinance and resolution. Excuse me.
Number 7.
Number 7. Oh, I'm sorry. Items from public, non-agenda item. Son of a gun.
Nice try, Bob.
We tried.
He almost did. Dave Reed,
1 minute.
1541 Kern Street. I'm just want to remind everyone about Memorial Day coming up this coming Monday. A letter was sent to the city inviting everyone, staff, council, everyone to the thing at the program at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning at Hills Ferry Cemetery. And anyone else who'd like to come, we really look forward to seeing you out there. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And thank you for putting up the flags for Armed Forces Day.
Yes.
That was very nice.
Thank you.
Any other non-agenda items from the public?
Good evening. My name is Wayne Philbrick, and I'm the branch manager of the Newman Public Library. And I'm here to let you know about some exciting, wonderful things happening at the library during the month of June. Story time will be on hiatus. It's one of the few months that we take off during the year. For the month of June, we will not have any story times, but we will be back July 11th, bigger and better than ever. Our next Children's Craft Day will be on Tuesday, June 5th. We have these on the first Tuesday of every month at 3:30 in the library. We'll be making bracelets and necklaces out of macaroni and cardboard and wonderful things. I would like to thank the Friends of the Newman Library for their support in providing this particular program. And summer reading is here. The summer reading program is the highlight of our year at the library, and it starts this Saturday, May 26th. We have 3 categories for readers this year. Children aged 0 to 12 can get a reading log and all sorts of cool, wonderful toys and prizes for reading 20 minutes a day. Or if they're not reading yet, being read to 20 minutes a day. Whether they're reading or being read to is not important. The important part is to get them loving books, loving to read. Teens age 12 to 18 can get weekly prizes, including bowling certificates. And the grand prize, they get an entry into a drawing for not a Kindle, a Barnes & Noble Nook Color, which is an e-reader available, one of the most popular ones on the market. It's a great grand prize. One lucky teen in Newman will be winning that prize. And adults, not to be left out, there is a summer reading program for adults. All they have to do is write a quick review of any book that they read, and they get entered into drawings for various gift baskets that we'll have available. All of these free programs are brought to you through the 1/8 cent dedicated sales tax that supports the library. Please stop in and visit and bring the kids and sign them up for the reading club after Saturday. And look forward to seeing you at the library. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Hey, do you know if this is going to appear in the West Side Index as far as the notification of what actually the library is doing? I mean, do they do that, Julie?
They do it when we send them notifications, and I will definitely be sending them notifications about the big programs coming up in the summer reading. We're going to be having some performers and stuff as well.
I think they're great programs, and I know you've done a lot to make these programs, make them work.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else like to speak at this time, non-agenda item? Okay, we'll move on to item 8, consent calendar. waive all readings of ordinance and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of May 8, 2012, regular meeting. D, authorize city manager to execute a lease agreement with the Newman Crows Landing Unified School District for 1162 Main Street.
Make a motion that we approve consent calendar as presented.
I second that motion.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 9, public hearing. There being none tonight. Item 10, regular business. Report on investments.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. The City Finance Department currently manages the cash and investments of 29 different funds. These cash and investments are handled on a pooled cash basis. Sufficient cash is kept on hand to manage our day-to-day operations, and we invest the remainder. The total cash investments the Finance Department manages is roughly $16.6 million. Since these funds are pooled together, interest from our investments is allocated out to each fund based on the performance of all investments and the relative cash balances within each fund. Interest allocations are calculated and allocated on a quarterly basis. Currently, we keep our investments in 3 different layers. We try and keep sufficient for our daily activities in cash, which would be like our Bank of the West account and our money market account. We keep another section that's in a very liquid cash like LAIF, where within the same day's notice we can transfer our full balance from that account back to our checking for any emergency operations. The remainder we put into semi-liquid cash, which is like UBS and Chandler, which are mostly CDs. It would be prudent to keep our future investments that same way, so that we're maximizing our yield, but we're still safe and we're still very liquid. With regard to our investments, the city follows Government Code Section 53600, known as the Prudent Investor Rule. Safety and liquidity of funds first, then yield. With that, our current cash balances, our Bank of the West were roughly $2.6 million. That's for our day-to-day operations. Chandler Asset Management, we're at $5.1 million. Remember, a little over a year ago, we moved $5 million to that account. It's already earned $120,000. Actually, $179,000 if you look at the market value on that account. LAIF, we're at $7.1 million. UBS, which is another investor, $1.4 million. We've considered moving more funds to Chandler Asset Management. Our concern that Chandler is a smaller pool of funds. Their total pool is about $45 million, and we're currently at $5.1. And we currently have $2.6 million in our day-to-day operations, and we could move $1 million of that out into investments. So staff is here just to provide that information and get any feedback from you as to how you'd like to make any changes or adjustments to our investments.
I don't know myself. I leave it up to the experts. You being the expert.
You don't think we need to move a little bit more out of LAIF into Chandler?
We could.
I mean, with 5, that still gives us $7.6 million in liquid assets, though, right?
Yeah, our concern is you don't want to be too big a piece of the pie. We're already about 11%.
That's pretty big.
So, it's a pretty big chunk out of the 45. So, remember, safety, protecting the taxpayers' funds is first and foremost. And while, Chandler complies with the state code, you still want to spread those out. So that's why I can tell you, we want to put make as much as we can, but on the same side, we're just trying to be prudent with the taxpayer money. So at this time, we would recommend against going any more in LAIF. Any more in Chandler.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you. I bet other cities would like to know how we do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And we're not telling them.
No, I don't think so. Okay. And
I have the next item too. So.
you B also? Oh, okay. Okay. B would be report on ordinance relating to utility billings and possible changes to said ordinance.
I make a motion that we put that off till the next meeting when the mayor's here. I think all 5 of us should be here when that's discussed.
I concur.
Okay. Motion been made and second that this item be put off till next meeting, so when we'll be up to 100%.
Council, may I just ask one? Next meeting's pretty heavy with budget and a few other things. You want to just add it on, or
Okay,
can we?
Well, I think this is gonna take a while, maybe 2 meetings,
Okay.
if the next one's full.
Yeah, if we can fit it in, we will. I know the council, tries to limit the number of items we have, try to keep our meetings under the 2 hours. But you got to remember, we're going to be starting at 6, and then we'll think from 7 to, you could be 8:30 on the next one. You'd be here from 6 to 8:30. So maybe
Can we
we'll
move
keep
it
an
to
eye.
the second one in June?
We'll keep an eye on it, and if the agenda gets pretty big, we're going to probably move that to the second meeting in June. I just want to give you a heads up right now that we're just trying to be prudent with your time. And, it's not that we're trying to delay that. So
And this was not a request for action anyway. This was more information. Is that
it's
correct?
something that we're looking to give council some options, and then you give us
Feedback.
direction on which option and how you would like to proceed with those.
I concur.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion been made and second to be tabled to next meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 11, items from District 5 Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim D. Martini.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Martina, council members. Well, you guys really move these meetings along. I just love the way you do it here. You need to go to Patterson sometime.
No.
I'm gonna be there all night long.
I have a few things tonight, actually something different. Each of you should have this in front of you. This is a proposed road project from our Public Works Department restricting traffic on Jensen Road. The county is just throwing this out. We haven't made any decision on this. At some point, we would like to get the city's opinion about this. As you know, the traffic coming out of Sherman Parkway is, can be very heavy as kids are going to school, being taken to school. And it's a very narrow roadway that really has a hard time handling traffic each way. Jensen Road was never designed to handle a lot of traffic. The problem with it is that it's narrow and the county doesn't have any more right-of-way than what you see there, and there's some utility poles there. So the options that we have are either restricting the access to this road by blocking off traffic coming from Sherman Parkway. This is one proposal. We could make it a one-way street. That's another option for you to think about. We could widen the road, but that would be really costly for the county to do that. I mean, it's long-term, that would probably be the best, but we're really looking for something interim right now, because we'd have to buy right away, then move power poles. That'd be kind of an expensive deal, so we'd really rather not do that at this time. Or we could do nothing at all. So we have about 4 different options there. So this is something for you to think about. This is what our Public Works Director has come up with. And kick this around, maybe have your Public Works Director look at it and just let us know what you think. Okay, the LAFCO tomorrow will be taking public comment on its ag preservation policy. We've gotten about half a dozen letters from different groups commenting one way or another on that. There will be no action taken by LAFCO tomorrow, or really anytime soon. We're just in the process of gathering information and looking about developing a policy that would permanently preserve some agriculture in Stanislaus County. So if anybody's interested out in the audience there, we will meet tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the board chambers at the County Administration Building. And as far as the Healthcare Task Force, at the last meeting, we did pass our bylaws, only with one change in it. We're adding 4 members to public members instead of 1. I met with our attorney today after another meeting I had. Those changes were made. The paperwork's all submitted to him. It should be going in to our accountant by the end of the week, and for our nonprofit status. So everything is moving actually faster than I thought. And so we're on our way of becoming a nonprofit, which would make us much more likely to get grant money from health organizations to do projects here on the west side. Our West Side Walks begins on the first Tuesday of the month. There should be some advertisements in the West Side Index. June 6th is the first day of the walk. And they will be at the same times between Patterson, Newman, and Gustine. So the walk wheels have been already distributed out, so you could pass those out. At the end of the walk, which I believe is the last Wednesday of July, you turn those in with your name and we'll have some prizes for people. And the Health Summit is pretty much on track. Our speaker will be a doctor from, and I didn't write down his name, so I haven't met him yet, but he's the new medical director at Del Puerto Healthcare District, and he will be speaking about diabetes prevention with the kind of an emphasis on sugary drinks and how they add the weight gain. It can cause you to get diabetes. I've seen the PowerPoint presentation, and it's really very well done. I just haven't met the speaker yet. So anyway, that's all I have, unless you have any questions about anything.
Any questions?
Oh, one other thing I might bring up is the West Park project is supposed to come to the board on the 19th of June, which would be the third Tuesday evening. That's the date when it is scheduled. Of course, that's always subject to change. At that time, the indications are that the developer is not done what he said he was going to do at this time, is going to ask for another extension of the project. That's where we're at. That date, though, is tentative. It probably will go that day, but it may not. I'll keep you informed.
Okay. Any questions of the supervisor?
Okay,
Thank you, Supervisor DeMartini. Item 12, items from city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. It's good to see that the county is considering something on Jensen Road. Unfortunately, that's not really a real long-term solution. I'd like to remind the county that we've collected over $700,000 in traffic impact fees, and they've spent a little over $7,000, and that was at River Road and Crow's Landing. So the other $693,000, or the full $700,000, hasn't even been spent anywhere near Newman. So kind of an interesting subject that maybe the supervisor doesn't know. I will be in attendance at tomorrow's LAFCO meeting. As you've seen, I delivered on Monday night to you a copy of a 4-page letter we plan to present to them. I know Councilmember Hutchins relayed a couple things that he just asked to be changed, mostly grammatical and some wordsmithing in there. Is there any other comments or changes that any other members of the council would like to do before we submit that to LAFCO for their consideration?
I have no comments. I thought it was excellent. I think you covered all the points.
I agree. I think every salient point that could come up was very well presented in there.
Yeah.
Great. So with that, we do have the Tosca banquet tomorrow, and unfortunately I won't be able to attend the Tosca banquet, but for those who do, I want to congratulate those recipients ahead of time that are going to receive awards from Tosca. Tosca is a great program, and I think they're awarding over $100,000 this year.
107 or something.
Yeah, what a great program. A little community like Newman generating over $100,000 in scholarship money for 1 year. That's great news. Just FYI for the council, June 8th is a Friday evening. That's when we're scheduled to do our annual city softball game. So I'll be talking to you individually on that one. You did get a copy of a letter and a report from us going to the ISO regarding our fire rating. We have a response. They came out and surveyed our community and were proposing to downgrade us from a 3 rating to a 5 rating, 1 being the highest, 10 being the lowest. We submitted an enhancement plan to them. At this point, they've looked at our enhancement plan and said, okay, with all those changes, we can move you up to a 4. So we're still talking internally to see if we can get back up to the 3. I did talk with a local representative in the insurance industry, and going from a 3 to a 4 will not affect people's fire insurance. So that was the main thing that we had. So, but we'll continue to seek out and do the best we can to get that rating as high as possible. So. We are in the finishing up the budget process. As you know, typically we have that scheduled for your next meeting, 6 o'clock start time, and we do the workshop before. We typically put it on your council agenda, and then you make the decision of whether you want to go ahead and approve it that night or continue it to the next meeting. That'll be, solely at the council's basis. What I can tell you is right now we are projecting over $200,000 budget deficit for next year. So, things are getting better. Unfortunately for us, we have a lot of grants that are expiring. Some of those are in the police department, where we have an officer that's 100% funded right now. That goes away. So, that's $90,000 for one officer. So, that's a big chunk right there. Cops funding, we don't know where that's going to be. We do have that in our budget right now, but there's just other little things that add up to over $200,000 of budget deficit. With that being said, we'll also be bringing back, and we've already met a tentative agreement, and we'll go into closed session next meeting about our miscellaneous employees. And we are doing some give backs to them, so that adds to the cost as well. So, as you know, we've had furloughs. Our employees have graciously agreed to non-paid furloughs. We're looking at doing some elimination of those furloughs to get back to the service level that our residents have come to expect. But part of that is an added cost to the city. So we're looking at ending those non-paid days for both of our groups at this point in time. So that just adds to the cost on there on top of it. So and we're looking at 2-year contracts with each group. So we'll tie them in for 2 years. We're giving back. Probably might have to eat into our reserves a little bit, but we're pretty comfortable right now, and staff is feeling more comfortable with where the economy is in terms of at least a bottom in terms of revenues and property taxes and all of those things. So, we'll evaluate this, but if we can lock them in for 2 years, it gives us some flexibility in our budget, and then, we'll adjust accordingly after their contracts expire, and hopefully we won't never have to go back to non-paid furloughs again.
Did you say this was for just the miscellaneous employees?
We have a tentative agreement with the miscellaneous. The POA and I are what I believe to be close, and I'm hoping by the next meeting we'll have a tentative agreement with them, so I can bring both of those MOUs to you at that time together. So I'm not sure that there's anything that's insurmountable at this time. We're close with conversation. So, but again, you're up over 200,000, probably in the 240 range right now is what we're looking at. But we got to go back with our department heads and look and see at all of our programs and see if we can trim that down. But at this point in time, we're still comfortable with that number for this year. So, and then lastly, just Department of Finance, and they just put out a ruling that, as you know, the state kicked our butt in Supreme Court in December. And they're taking full advantage of that now, and so the screws from the state are really coming down hard on us. I mean, really hard. So, if you got $1, they're going to take it. It's just the way it is right now, and it's disheartening because we provide 90% of the services to our residents. We provide a lot of the public safety. We provide a lot of everything to our residents, and they're just coming in and just raiding our coffers. So, maybe Tom can talk a little bit more about that ruling.
It was actually a Department of Finance has what's called a budget trailer bill that's going through the legislature right now. And the two main things it does, it just emasculates the oversight boards that a lot of us serve on, giving them the final say a lot quicker, and then extending their deadlines for denying stuff that we have. And then, like Michael said, the sweeps are just coming in and sweeping huge funds of money. The housing that we thought would probably be ours might be gone. My concern is, as Mike pointed out when he talked about the decision initially, and that is the state's sovereign and we exist at their sufferance. And there's books and things out right now that says the only way the state can survive is just to crush the cities and take their money. And it looks like this is the beginning.
And what's at risk for the city of Newman is immediately $250,000 that we are owed by the redevelopment agency, and then on top of that, the legislation had provided for the cities or successor agencies would get a minimum of $250,000 for administration costs. Well, right now, with our revenues and our obligations, we're not able to get that. So the city would have to front up some money to keep the successor agency alive, and we agreed to do it with the intention that we would be repaid. Now they're starting to say you're not going to get repaid if you front out that money. So then at that point in time, what are we just going to keep throwing bad money away? You know, at some part, do you let your bonds default, or do you just drop away and just walk away from it and just say, have at it, state, you do what you need to do, and we're done with you.
Yeah,
So-
one of the things that they've done is a lot of cities made the good faith effort of paying that money and up front, because they were all, what they were doing was saying that it would be repaid, and then as soon as everybody paid the money, he put out, this trailer bill has been sitting there, they've been waiting, and so now that's when it's come in to, now they're not going to pay any of the cities back. We were always on the bottom of the totem pole anyway for any repayment, but now we're not even on the totem pole. So
it really is criminal what's going on at that level. It's sad to see, and so, you know, and then all the other things that they're doing to local agencies, counties, and cities, or the realignment, and with the public safety and everything else that's going on over there, it's not like it. So that's all that I had to report tonight.
Thank you.
thanks for all the good news, Michael.
All that good news.
Yeah.
Staff? Okay, there we go.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I have two things to advise you guys of today. First off, I don't know how many of you are aware, if you've heard, that the Newman Police Department has started a junior police academy. This is a program that has begun and has sprouted up over the last couple of years. Several agencies are doing it. We caught wind of it and thought the community could need it. Basically, the Junior Police Academy is open to any child between the ages of 10 and 13 or 5th through 8th grade. We're going to hold ours on June 11th through the 15th. And the children are going to come from 8 to 12, and it's a time for them to interact with law enforcement, for us to build a relationship with them at a young age, so that as they grow older, they understand what we do, and then hopefully, you know, they can help themselves as they learn safety procedures, and they can also help us. Some of the stuff that they're going to do at the Junior Police Academy is they're going to learn about some laws. They're going to learn about physical fitness. They're going to learn about, you know, obviously what to do when they find a firearm, or, you know, somebody hurts them, or their parents, and how to dial 911. Some of the basic things that we try to teach our kids on a day-to-day basis. The other nice thing about that is they will truly get to look into law enforcement. They will obviously, because I love canines, obviously, they will obviously get to see a lot about the dogs and the canines and what we do, and we'll provide demonstrations for them on that. I've been in talks with the Sheriff's Department to bring out some of their units, including the bomb squad and evidence ID tech, so they can learn about evidence collection and what bomb squads do, and kind of see the equipment that's involved in that. Also trying to get maybe a dive team and a SWAT team to come out and show them all that stuff, talk to them about that. End of the week, it'll be fun. There'll be some contests during that event, and then the police department's going to throw them a real big pizza party and give them some awards, and hopefully that'll kick off, and we can just build on this year from year on the Junior Police Academy. So that's just one other thing we're doing to reach out to the children. And then secondly, obviously this is a holiday weekend. As most of you know, we in Newman are part of the Avoid the 12 program. So on Saturday night, I strongly suggest that anybody that would be driving in the city of Newman is not drinking, because we will be out in force trying to obviously catch violators, educate the public about the dangers of drunk driving. I believe right now the statistics are every 39 minutes and up to 40 people a day are killed with alcohol-related crashes. So this weekend on Saturday, we're going to try to reduce that and maybe make some people think twice. questions?
Both give great programs. Well,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much. All I see is head shaking back there. Okay. Don, you have an opportunity now. You'd like to,
Michael, I just had a question on the letter that we're sending on the fire protection enhancement plan.
Yes.
Enhancement 1, is that 2 full-time or part-time firefighter positions?
You know, we're still, because when we originally proposed that, we anticipated a much bigger swing in the number of points we would get. Essentially, they're saying, well, with that, you would get half a point.
Okay.
So, while it's a budgetary item right now, it's still in flux as to what we would do. Now, the idea would be any of those positions that are done would be on a stipend basis, not a full-time, not even necessarily a part-time. It would be a stipend type position, day-to-day stipend.
Based on availability of the firefighters with...
Yeah, they would all sign up, and the fire department's active. I've worked with the fire department and their management team to come up with some of these programs, and they came up with several different ones. That's the one we picked because we thought we'd get the biggest bang for our buck with that. But unfortunately, half a point for $30,000, and we're already going to be at a 4 anyway. That doesn't affect our rating either way, so we may or may not be able to proceed forward with that program. What we may do is wait till mid-year, January, and decide, with a budget deficit again of in excess of $200,000, that may be something we just hold back, see how the year is going before we fully implement it.
Until the state starts giving us back some money.
Yeah.
Donkeys fly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I had, Bob. Thank you.
thank you very much. I don't have anything, okay.
Nothing
Mr.
tonight.
Candia?
Mayor Pro Tem, one last thing. I just want to remind the council that, when the state passed their budget last year, they said it was balanced.
And you believed him?
No.
Anyway, I have nothing tonight, but I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and time to get home and be with your family. But if I have a motion adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.